Welcome, everyone. I'm Sue Barber, author, former IT director for a Fortune 500 company, turned executive coach, and this is the Visibility Factor podcast, where we explore how to raise your visibility and play bigger at work and in life. We'll explore key topics and welcome guests that help you shift your thinking about yourself so you can see new possibilities for your leadership. I'm on a mission to create a visibility movement for leaders to show their value and be seen for their true talent. Are you ready to take the next step towards a higher level of visibility for yourself? Let's go. The Visibility Factor podcast is brought to you in part by the 90-Day Visibility Breakthrough Accelerator Program. Do you believe deep down inside that you can have a bigger career, but you don't know how to get there? You can keep doing what you're doing, but what if there is a better way that could accelerate your progress? This 90-day program is a powerful experience that is unique to you and provides dedicated time to focus on your specific challenge. It gives you the time to develop big ideas and plans to execute them, including the tools, resources, and motivation needed for success. Hundreds of clients have used this same program to take them to the next level in their career and to create a better life. Join me in a 90-day experience that focuses on challenges like creating a strategic plan, how to lead an organizational change, or prepare for a career transition. This dedicated time will help you see new possibilities, recognize your strengths, and take away key insights that can be leveraged immediately. Are you ready to create a breakthrough for yourself? If you're interested in learning more, visit susanmbarber.com/visibility breakthrough accelerator for more information and to sign up for the program. I look forward to seeing you there. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Visibility Factor podcast. This is Sue Barber, your host. Today is a very special day, and I know that you won't hear this recording for another week yet, but today is the Visibility Factor's second book birthday. I didn't know what a book birthday was before I became a part of this club of being an author, but it's something that we do to celebrate that the book came out when it was published, and it came out November 2nd, 2021, so it's 2 years old. So I thought I'd share a little bit about the journey that I have been on before I wrote the book, and then also since I've written the book. I don't know that everybody understands kind of the things that you go through as an author. And so I thought it might be interesting for you to hear a little bit about that and also just to share the experience. It's something that I found very fascinating. So it was August 2nd, 2018, when I first reached out to AJ Harper about writing a book. I had been given her name by a mastermind group that I was a part of, and I had been talking about writing a book forever. And I think they finally got tired of me talking about it and said, could you just please reach out to this person and see if she can help you? And so I am eternally grateful to all of those people in that group because they pushed me to get uncomfortable. They pushed me to think about writing this book that I really wanted to do, but was a little bit afraid to do it. Now, I'd been working on some things. I'd been writing a blog before I talked to her. And so I felt pretty comfortable writing, but I wasn't really sure how to write a book. I certainly wasn't comfortable publishing a book. I didn't know anything about that. And so when I talked to her, she really made me feel completely comfortable that I could write a book. She had the whole process down. She had all the experience of writing, and she had the support that I needed to make this happen. Now, at that point, I didn't have a title. I didn't know what I wanted to call it. I just knew that I wanted to talk about visibility in a bigger way. And I wanted to share that with more people and to get the message out in a way that I couldn't do it all by myself. So the Visibility Factor was just an idea. It was the book that I wanted to write to help others. It was the book that I couldn't find when I needed the help when I was back in corporate. And AJ has this top 3 book workshop community that is amazing. It's one of the most supportive groups of people I've ever met. Everyone wants the other people to succeed. And it's an amazing group that is so wonderful to be a part of. And I have actually ventured back into the group since I wrote the book because I'm working on book number 2. It's like I never left. It's just one of the most impactful things I've ever been a part of, to see what everyone's going through, what they're writing about, and to be really a support for them as well. So when I wrote this book, I originally started writing it from a place of teaching what I thought other people needed to learn to be stronger leaders, how to be more visible, how to do it in a way that was authentic for them. But I wasn't really including anything around vulnerability, emotion, really care for the reader, if I'm honest. I really thought that I knew enough to teach them, but I wasn't thinking about it from the standpoint of what does a reader really need? AJ helped me see that. She helped me see that I needed to include stories. I needed to talk about my own experiences which is interesting because I had passed all of that by that point, and I had to go back in time and kind of relive some of that. So there was a little bit of therapy that I think I put myself through to go back through those experiences again and be able to share them with the reader. And the book is so much better because of that. We also came up with the acronym RISE, which is the 4-part process in the book, which stands for reflection, ideate, select, and evaluate. It helps people build their own visibility plan. Now, that was something I was doing with people, but I hadn't really considered it as a formal process until I wrote the book. AJ helped me with that. One of the questions that she asked us in some of our workshops were, what did we hope that the book would do in the world? I wanted it to be a guide, something that readers could refer to throughout their career. I wanted it to be compared to Brené Brown's books. It was a lofty goal at that point. She also asked us our fear. My fear was that putting this out in the world was scary. What if it didn't resonate? What if it was on the 99-cent rack somewhere in a bin? It felt scary to be that vulnerable because a lot of these stories were my own. I was kind of putting myself out there in a way that I never had before. Many people had no idea these things were happening for me. And so it was kind of opening the door for me to start to share that. And it was scary. I found a quote that really resonated for me here. Robert Schuller says, "If you listen to your fears, you will die never knowing what a great person you might have been." So if I had listened to my fears in that moment and said, I can't put this book out there, it's going to be, on a 99-cent rack somewhere, I would have stopped. I would have never gone forward. But I knew that AJ was going to be there and help support me, and so was the rest of the community. Now, one of the things she also taught us was to teach parts of our book. So I taught about the RISE process with a group of people that I asked to be a part of that group. She also asked us to get pre-reader feedback, which I also did because it's helpful to know, are the things that I wrote about in the right order? Do people follow the stories that I shared? Are they impactful enough? Are there things I could be doing differently? And so all of those experiences were so valuable and helped me write the book in a better way. And it actually helped me change some things to make it better for the reader. So I wanted to share a few comments out of that very first group of Master Your Visibility workshops that I did because it was so interesting to me. It was the first time I was putting something out there that I didn't know if it was going to resonate. I'd not taught it as a group before. I'd only done it as one-on-one. And so here's a few comments. Sue is an absolutely fantastic coach. Her positivity and enthusiasm were really inspiring. The way she asked questions and presented examples made me think of my visibility at work and in regular life too, in a variety of fresh new ways. It hadn't previously occurred to me that an entrepreneur showing up for myself is a big part of my future success. I'm excited to implement what I learned in just a few short sessions. The next one is, Sue's class makes you think differently about visibility. It's actually very simple when you switch your mindset and be mindful of all opportunities. Her step-by-step RISE process is an easy-to-follow method that opens your eyes to all the visibility opportunities you have every day and how you can make the most of them. I have benefited from taking this class by being mindful of my day-to-day visibility and learning ways to make myself stand out. So seeing those comments was so amazing because I realized that what I was writing about was resonating, that people were starting to see the importance of visibility and really start to think of themselves in a different way and how they show up every day. So as I was doing those things behind the scenes, I was doing editing of the first draft. I was editing multiple drafts after that once it went through some copy editing. The editing process is a big undertaking, but I learned so much and grew to love editing. I am by no means a formal editor in any way, but I learned so many important things about how to edit and what to look for. I loved how each time it was edited, the book became so much better. I could see it myself every time it came back from copy edit that it had improved. It wasn't that my stories were different. It was like the words were rearranged slightly to make it more impactful, or new words were added here and there to make it a much better sentence. It was a really great process, and I loved it so much. I remember the box coming to the house from UPS when the books arrived for the very first time. The what's called advanced reader copies are copies that aren't final versions, but you need them to start to look through the book, make sure that the typeset is correct, make sure that all the information is in there right before you actually go to the final publish. And just seeing that book, seeing something I could feel and touch, it was no longer something on my computer, was just the coolest experience. Seeing all that hard work come to life in that book seemed so impossible in the beginning to write, and now I'd done it. Once I put it online as a book that could be ordered through Amazon and through other sites online, it was just an amazing feeling. It became so real in that moment that people could actually order it. And it just reaffirmed the journey that I had been on and that I was trying to continue to go through so that more and more people could learn about visibility. So I want to share a few comments from Amazon on the book itself. If you haven't read it, maybe it will inspire you to pick up a copy and learn about visibility for yourself. Some of these comments are so fun to read, so I thought I'd share them with you. So the first one, I'm from the Midwest, and we grew up on the message that if you work hard, go the extra mile at work, you'll get promoted and be successful. That was definitely what I believed too. So why is it that so many people who are less qualified and don't pull overtime hours get the promotions hardworking folks deserve? In Barbara's book, I learned that in order to get ahead, hard work is still important, but without visibility, many of us will remain stuck. She calls it the visibility factor, and in her book, she talks openly about her own challenges with it in her corporate career and the plan she created to be more visible in a way that fits her values and personality. She also shares stories from the clients she coaches on this very topic. Barbara gets it. And she also has a practical, proven way to get the visibility we, all in caps we, deserve. Loved this book. The second one, I've spent a lifetime trying, quote unquote, to fly under the radar despite having a relatively big personality. No one wants to invite criticism or harsh judgment. However, this title brings home the fact that you also miss opportunities, connections, and the chance to make your best contribution when you're in the shadows. This is a great title for anyone who feels as though they missed being seen and or recognized for what they brought or could bring to their workplace or community. The last one, the margins of my copy of the Visibility Factor are full of notes, ahas, ideas, and exclamation points galore. This just isn't another how-to book. Those are a dime a dozen. This incredible work covers all the bases, from who to what to when, and most importantly, Susan hits the home run of why cultivating visibility matters. A highly recommended read. So reading those is a little bit surreal, honestly, because that is part of what I wanted to create for people. One of the immutable laws, that's something that you really try to think about as you're writing throughout the process, is that I wanted people to feel like they had a virtual coach. I wanted them to feel like they had me, even if they couldn't have me in real life, that I was there, I was supportive, I was giving them ideas and guiding them through the process. And so some of those comments really helped me see that that is what happened. That is what I created through the book. Now, part of the pre-read process, I got some comments there too, so I thought I'd share a few of those too. An inspiring read regardless of level in an organization, whether just starting out, looking to take the next step, or in a leadership role. Written with honesty, personal experience, research, and reflection, a must-read. This is a book that is packed full of ideas and a process for how to create greater visibility inside your organization. It's a must-read. Sue bears her heart and soul, and you're going to learn so much from her journey. The second one, loved the book. The flow of the process and examples Susan presented are real-life situations experienced in every business environment. This book creates great insights and direction to becoming visible and successful. And the last one, written in an engaging style, it moves along quickly. I found it hard to put down. This book is inspiring, offers practical advice, and provides clear actions you can take to increase your own visibility. Definitely recommend it if you are looking for ways to increase your impact as a leader. So all of that is just amazing to me to read and see that what this book was a dream of mine for a long time came to reality, and the impact that's making for other people, which is the most important part, right? The goal of this was to bring visibility to light for people, to help them understand that they could do it, that they could do this in a way that works for them, in a way that's authentic for them, and they didn't have to brag. And so all of these things are just compliments to what was written in the book, but the stories that were shared. I'm so thankful for all the clients that went through the process with me that allowed me to share their stories. I didn't use their names, but I did use some real experiences that my clients went through. And there are definitely struggles that people have gone through and are still going through. And now they are learning how to do this on their own, right? So it's not something that happens overnight. I don't want to set expectations that, everybody can be visible overnight, but it takes time, intention, and consistency. And once you start doing those things, it becomes something that just becomes a part of you. You start to be visible every single day in a way that works for you, and it just feels comfortable. It becomes something that you've just learned how to do, and you can't go back. Once you learn it, you just can't go back. So the last part I wanted to share with you is some of the trade reviews. Now, I didn't know what trade reviews were when I first got into this world of writing a book. Trade reviews are where you send your book to different organizations, and they review the book, and they kind of review it from an objective standpoint. They don't know me. They don't know anything about the book until they get it. But their goal is to look at it objectively, give you some information about your book, kind of review it, give a takeaway, grade it. They look at covers, design and typography, illustrations, editing, marketing copy. They look at all of that, and they come back to you with information. Now, these are reviews that bookstores look at, that libraries look at, to decide if they want to carry your book, because they view them as an objective person reviewing the book. And so I wanted to share a few of these and just tell you what they said. The first one, a clear-eyed, persuasive, and encouraging guide to stand out for better as a leader within a company. This is from Publishers Weekly. Now, what was most interesting about this one, this was the very first one I got, and they also included some things around production grades. And so they gave me all A's, which was so fun. I didn't know. I guess they grade on ABC. I don't really know, but I got all A's, which is the important part. So they said, great for fans of Carol Kinsey-Gilman's Stand Out, How to Build Your Leadership Presence, and Brené Brown's Dare to Lead. Now, remember, when I was first asked what I wanted this book to do, what I wanted it to be compared to, I sent that intention out into the world. I really wanted to have it be as big as Brené Brown. It's not there yet, but I really want that intention to continue. I want to continue to have this book read by as many people as possible so that they can learn, just like they're learning from Brené about leadership and the things that she talks about. I wanted this book to be a continuation of that. I want to see people learn about visibility. And if this book is one way to do that, I'm so thrilled if they read it and start to see themselves differently. A couple of other trade review comments were the Visibility Factor is an enthusiastic career guide for people looking to be noticed at work while remaining true to themselves. That's from Clarion. And the last one is from Blue Ink Reviews, full of solution-oriented encouragement, and any ambitious worker who follows the suggested steps is sure to benefit from Barbara's valuable advice. So I got really good feedback from all of the trade reviews that I had requested. And so it was so inspiring to continue to see that the book was resonating, that people were doing exactly like what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to be a career guide. I wanted people to be able to continue to use it throughout their career as they moved to new roles and got promotions. I wanted them to be able to refer back to that. So all of these things that I received were validation of the immutable laws that I had set out in the beginning to use and write from. Those things were happening. Writing this book changed my life. I couldn't imagine all the things that have come my way because of it. I've done speaking, workshops, the people that I've met, doing this podcast, all because I made the decision to do something that was going to make an impact. It has definitely done that. I wanted to thank everybody who has bought the book. If you have bought the book, I would love it if you'd review it if you haven't yet. It helps the book get out in front of more people. It just is an amazing way to help other people, see the comments like some of the ones that I read today. So even if you write something, just one sentence, that's amazing. I would love to have you do that. AJ, Laura Stone, who is the operations director for AJ, the Top 3 Book Workshop family, the Sheep Jam family for helping me get this podcast up and going so that I can talk about visibility. all of my coaches, friends, family members who supported me over the last 5 years through writing the book and then since it has published. And I wanted to thank all the companies and podcasts that have had me speak, lead workshops, and guest on their shows. I am so grateful to all of you because it helps me get a bigger audience to talk about the book, to talk about the podcast, to talk about visibility, imposter syndrome, mindset, helping people shift that mindset so that they see that they can do greater things. They can achieve new possibilities with their career. So I couldn't have done this without any of you. And I just wanted to send out a big thank you to all of you. I'm so, so grateful for everything. So your visibility action for today is I want you to think about what is your dream? What is on your bucket list that you haven't taken any action on yet, but you think about it all the time. You think about it as something that will happen someday. What I want you to think about is, could you do it now? Could you start doing it now? Imagine if I hadn't had that conversation with AJ in 2018, if I had waited and just kept thinking, well, someday I'll write the book. It would have never probably happened. There's a quote from T. Harv Eker that says, successful people have fear, successful people have doubts, and successful people have worry. They just don't let these feelings stop them. And I want you to hear that for yourself and think about, where are you living in fear, holding yourself back, thinking about all the doubts and talking yourself out of doing something that could be really, really great for you, whether that's writing a book or something else. It may be something even as big as like traveling or, writing a blog for the first time or doing your own podcast. There are so many options out there for you now that you can do something bigger if you want to. So I'm going to leave you with transform your visibility in whatever way you want to so you can achieve your dreams for both your career and your life. Thank you again for all of your support of the podcast and the book. And this is the Visibility Factor podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks so much for listening to the Visibility Factor podcast. Remember that visibility starts with small steps that are intentional and consistent each day. Be bold, be visible, be the leader you were meant to be. Find us and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, which are highlighted in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Visibility Factor podcast.